What is going on YouTube and Instagram, man? I got a special guest in here today. I got the real Ed Oliver, not the fake one, the real one, man. How you doing today?
I'm good, man. Thank you for having me on.
Yep, man. Anybody that's tuning in, please like, comment, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Hit that notification button because I'm gonna be putting out more videos like this in the future. But how I like to get these started off, man. I like to ask my guests that I have on here, like, your favorite Commanders, Redskins, Washington football team memory. If you had to choose one, what would it be? I'm gonna give mine after yours.
Man, it's so many to choose from. Of course, unfortunately, I wasn't alive for the Super Bowl
Yeah.
era. So I mean, I would say honestly, I'm gonna just go back to last year, man. Like I
Wait,
said,
I forgot to put in there. You can't use last year. My bad.
okay,
Because that's everybody's go-to. Last year was so
right.
special. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing because, like I said, I wasn't alive for the Super Bowl years. But I guess, I would say, man, it's, I'm gonna go with probably that Monday Night Miracle, man, because I remember my I was probably middle school or something like that, maybe
Mhm.
younger than that, actually, probably like elementary school, and I remember my parents went to bed because my dad was a huge Skins fan at the time,
Mhm.
and when I woke up I actually watched it all the way through because it was 13-0 the whole game, the
Yeah.
whole game, and then Santana caught the two passes back to
Yep.
back, the two bombs, and I remember waking up in the morning and I woke my mom and dad up, and I was like, "They won! They won! They won!" They didn't believe me because back then we didn't
Yeah.
have phones like that. We didn't
Right.
have phones and cell phones, so you had to literally wake up and either look at the newspaper or turn on ESPN,
Mhm.
ESPN and the news. So yeah, no, that was to witness that, and then Sean Taylor decking people in that game, and
Mhm.
going into Dallas and winning like that 14-13 and having a terrible game the whole game and then winning a game like that. And then we made the playoffs that year too. So that was
Mhm.
my most fun memory as a Skins fan.
Yeah, I talked about that at my last show because that definitely is one of mine as well. I was watching with my cousin, and I just remember we was going crazy at that because we was like so down the whole game. It was like it was a boring game, honestly, for real. But um, when he caught those two passes, we went crazy. We went crazy late. But for me, man, I'm gonna choose because I gotta choose a different one every show. For me, one of the most memorable, memories I had was that D'Angelo game. What was it? He had 4 picks against
Mm,
Jay Cutler. I'm trying to think of the year. I think that was 2010, right? 2010. It was a very forgettable year, by the way. The only other thing I could remember out of that year was when we played the Eagles. In the first play of the daggone game, Michael Vick throws a bomb to Deshaun Jackson past and LaRon Landry and Deshaun Jackson was going at it pregame.
right.
And I was so mad when I seen that happen. I was like, bro, oh my God, it's about to be a long day. And it was a long day. But that four pick game that year by D'Angelo Hall, I've never seen anybody catch 4 picks in that game. So that was something that's etched in my memory. That I could always remember, like him catching 4 picks, crazy, running one of them back. So that's one of my favorite memories. I got another question for you. What made you start content creation on the Redskins Commanders football team?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So I started back in 2018, and there wasn't a lot of Skins content creators at the time. There was definitely a lot of NFC East, other NFC East teams.
Yeah.
But I was just like I went to college to do broadcast journalism. I wanted to be a journalist and do
Mhm.
basketball, football, ESPN. Like everybody growing up wanted to do that. So that was one of the
Right.
things. Really, what I wanted to do was talk sports and be on Comcast Sportsnet. Growing up watching Comcast
Yeah.
Sportsnet.
Comcast Sportsnet. Yep.
Right, yeah. So it's just tough getting in that field, man. It's really tough, and you got to either have an internship or you got to have connections to get into stuff like that,
Mhm.
or move to a different state. So it's a lot that goes. It's a very competitive field, and it's not a lot of money in it at first. It's not glamorous.
Right.
So, I got a day job 9 to 5, and I just started doing YouTube videos and content, and started off doing wizard stuff and commander stuff, and the skin stuff just jumped off for the most part. Like, I think my biggest video when I first started was when they cut DJ Swearinger, and I was at work and I just saw the notification pop on my phone. I just was like, hey, I need a 15. Jumped into a car, and I was working at a rental place. I jumped into one of the rental cars and just took the video, and it had like 10,000 views. And then ever since then, it just jumped off. But the biggest reason why is just my love of the game, love of the team, DC sports. And I was on Twitter a lot. Nobody was really interacting with me like that, so I was just like, yeah, let me just go ahead and just start making videos.
Yeah, I can relate to that because when I first went to college as well, mine was sport broadcasting as well. I ended up changing my major because I have a music background, so I kind of started going towards that. But I've always been a Skins fan, like in general. Then my light went out, but I always been like a big Skins fan. Um, and my whole life, like that's I always know everything about the team. I always talk about the team. The diehard fans. I remember when we used to lose. I didn't want to go to school the next day in elementary school because, living in the DMV, it's a lot of Cowboys fans. There's a lot of all types of other people fans. So you gotta when we lose, you gotta hear it. Like when you go to school, and I remember going through all that. But reason why I started my channel, I always kind of wanted to do it. Always wanted to do it, but I never really, just did it. So last year we finally started making some noise. And I was like, you know what, this is a perfect opportunity. They got some free time. I got money to get equipment now. Why not? Nothing's stopping me to start. So I just went out for a leap and just starting creating content. So here we are. But yeah, man, let's hop into this game from
Mhm.
Monday real quick. We're gonna just go through it because we know we're moving on, but I just want one positive thing and one negative thing that you can take from the game on Monday.
Yeah, other than injuries, I would say that the first team offense looked really good, even though Terry wasn't
Yeah.
out there, Noah wasn't out there, Cosme, of course, with the ACL injury, Brandon Coleman not out there, Tunzel not out there. There's
Mhm.
a lot of guys that weren't in there, and we didn't even have to throw it. Jaden didn't even have to throw a pass. Like Cliff was dialing us some stuff. Debo looked really good on that run. Um, Jaden, of course, looked good on the touchdown run. So
Mhm.
just the first team offense, I thought, did a heck of a job with guys being out. John Bates included. He did a heck of a job blocking there. He's like basically another offensive lineman out there. So I just want to give credit to that whole first team offense, the whole Cliff, those guys holding it down undermanned. And I get it, the Bengals defense, they're not the best defense. I understand that. They weren't great last year. They're not good again. Trey Hendrickson, of
Yeah.
course, holding out, so he didn't play. Even though when Trey Hendrickson played last year, we saw
Yeah.
him on Monday Night Football, and we kind of took him out of the game. So, but I would just say the first team offense just running the ball, C-Rod, JCM,
Mhm.
like they all came ready to play. And then the whole B-Rob, like the same day they announced B-Rob is not going to play or not even show up to the stadium, or they don't want him there.
Yeah.
So even that, that they're all teammates. So I bet they all get along. So, that can affect your mental a little bit, because from a fan perspective, we're like, oh, some people don't care about B-Rob or whatever. But from a teammate perspective, you still care about your team. Like his locker was taken away allegedly per JP Finley and stuff like that. So all
Yeah.
that guys really stepped up and with a lot of guys out.
Yeah. I did see the locker thing. Apparently Terry McLaurin doesn't have a locker right now either. So
Yeah, I heard that.
I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that, but that's kind of crazy. But yeah, from the game no on Monday, that like it's a lot of positives and there's some negatives that you could take.
Mhm.
One of the negatives that I took is that we need our guys back on wide receiver. We need Noah Brown, we need Terry back because when I heard JD5 talking about who he was looking at on a post route, Chris Rodriguez, like why are we looking at Chris? Like why is he running a post route?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like and Noah Brown out there, Debo was everybody was blanketed, so he had no chance to really get the ball to anybody, and he just took off to score. And if he doesn't have his number one wide receiver, we're going to be seeing a lot of him taking off. I feel like if no one's getting open. and I really don't want to see that. So I think that's like one of the biggest negatives I could take. The positives I take is our running backs. I think we are very deep. I think our running backs are very deep, and we don't actually need. I like Brian Robinson. The news that came out about him and Ben Standig and everything that caught me by surprise because I still don't think we're better off without him. I still think that if we keep him on the roster, he does add some things that our other running backs can't necessarily do. I do think that he is our best bruiser type, as you would say, running back that we have. I guess you can put Chris Rodriguez in there. I guess he would be used as that type of role, but I would rather have him on the roster if we're just going to release him. That's just me. But the positive thing is that we did look solid. I do get it's the Bengals defense, but we did look solid without him. So that's a big positive.
Yeah, and then the negative, my fault, but the negative I will say, the cornerback depth. That would be a negative for me. I would throw special teams in there too. I haven't really been impressed with what Larry Izzo has done this whole. It's only been 2 games, but games have been kind of questionable with kickoff coverage. So I think they need to clean that up before the season starts for sure. And just Carlin Vidgers and Bobby Price. Carlin Vidgers, he's a UDFA rookie, so I'm not gonna rag on him too hard because he's a UDFA rookie, so there's a learning curve and all that. The tackling has been bad from him. Coverage has it's just been rough. Mitchell Tinsley, former commander, he looked
good. So wait, let me ask you this: if he doesn't make the team, do we pick him up? Do you think we should take a look at him?
I definitely would, man. And I like Ja'Cory Brooks, but Mitchell Tinsley is better than Ja'Cory Brooks right now. I mean, maybe Ja'Cory Brooks may be better a couple years from now, but right now, Mitchell Tinsley, I'm not saying Mitchell Tinsley is going to go out there and go crazy in a regular season. Like he may just be a preseason guy, like we saw a couple years ago with us. Like he had a good preseason too. And he may never amount to. He may just be like just a good 6-string practice squad kind of guy. But at this point, like we got to take.
Snap! I think we lost him. Ed Oliver kind of having some difficulties. Let me go ahead and remove him real quick. But yeah, man, look, Mitchell Tinsley was going crazy with us, man. I don't know what it was, but he was going off, bro. He was going off. If he don't make this Buccaneers team, I think we should take a look at him. I for sure think we should take a look at him. Mitchell Tinsley went crazy because our wide receiver depth right now is not the best. So I do agree with what Ed Oliver was doing right there. With what Ed Oliver was saying. But yeah, man, from that game though, like it's a lot of positives to take, and it's a lot of negatives to take. Like when Ed Oliver was speaking about Bobby Price and Carlin Vigors, I didn't really bring them up because they're not making the team. I'm really comfortable with our cornerback depth. We got Marshawn Lattimore, Trey Amos, Mikey Sanger still out there. You know what I'm saying? And then we got our Jonathan Jones, and then we got Noah. Those are 5 cornerbacks. So I'm really comfortable with those people. Let me go ahead and get Ed back in here. He back up. You good, Ed? Does that meal you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. Yeah, so I was talking Carlin Vidger and Mitchell Tinsley. Mitchell Tinsley. To get back to that, I would take a look at him at the 6th receiver spot for sure.
Yeah, and to go back, I was just talking about to go back with the cornerback depth. I agree. Carlin Vigors and Bobby Price, they're not really, they look bad. They look bad for like 2 weeks straight now. But I do overall like the 5 cornerbacks that we have right now. Like I feel like our cornerbacks is really good. We just haven't really seen them all out on the field at the same time yet. But I think come week 1 and going into the season, they're going to be really good. But to move on, we had our practice today. And we got some good news. We got some people back out there. Marcus Mariota was back out there. Brandon Coleman was back out there. Jordan McGee and Trey Amos returned. Do you think either of those players are going to play, tonight? Oh, not tonight. Saturday against the Ravens, knowing that they haven't gotten any, run against any preseason players. You can still hear me, Ed? All right, I think Ed having some technical difficulties.
All right, I'm here. I'm back.
Oh, you heard my question I asked you?
No, I didn't hear it. It cut out.
Okay. Now I was saying, today we had a practice. We had some players come in, off of injury. And I was talking about Marcus Mariota, Brandon Coleman, Jordan McGee, Trey Amos. Do you think any of these players get some run this Saturday against the Ravens, knowing that none of them have gotten any preseason run? Do you think we send any of them out there to get their feet wet a little bit?
Yeah, Mariota or Marcus Mariota, definitely not him. Brandon Coleman, no, since he's a starter. Jordan McGee, I don't even, honestly, at this point, I don't think. But
Yeah,
I'm a little more optimistic on him than other people are. But out of the list, I don't see those guys playing. I think Josh Johnson and Sam Hartman, they're going to play majority of all of the game. Actually, I think they probably may give Sam Hartman the first half and then give Johnson the second half. And then they said Trey Amos him better. He would have played. Yeah, he would have played on Monday if it was a real game. That's what Quinn said. But I highly doubt they risk him with second string and third string guys, or really fourth string guys, because they really want him to start. So I don't think any of those guys are going to play.
Right. I agree. I don't think either of them really should start. I mean, play at all Saturday. Especially knowing that that's when, everybody fighting for their life, and I don't want no injuries, nothing going on. So I don't need to see anything from those guys. Moving on though. Some news came out regarding the Brian Robinson per John Keim. Quote, John Keim has said, he says, if they don't trade him, he's not going to be here. It's just a matter of when. I would certainly guess before the weekend that this thing is finalized. Do you think he will be traded or cut by the end of the week?
I'm thinking released.
I think
now,
so too.
I did a trade where Sky Moore got traded from the Chiefs to the Niners. I believe it was like Sky Moore in a 6th for a 7th, or Sky Moore in a 7th for a 6th, something like that. We see John Ridgeway get traded last year where it was something similar where you attach a pick and you get a pick back. I can see something like that happen. Cade York got traded. We traded for Cade York, the kicker, last year for a 7th round additional 7th round pick. You still?
Yeah, I can hear you like going in and out, but I heard what you said. Yeah, I do agree. I think we end up I think we do end up releasing him, unfortunately. But I would like us to get something. When I saw that Sky Moore news, I immediately thought like, shit, we can get Brian Robinson. We can get something for Brian Robinson if Sky Moore was traded for a 7th round pick. I just don't see why that can't, you know what I'm saying, why that can't come into fruition. But anything, pick swap, 7th round, last pick of the draft, anything. There was also some news came out today that we are willing to take on some of his contract. So that tells me that they really don't have any use for him. So if we're not going to use him, we need to try to get as much as we can back for him. So I definitely agree that that I think he's going to be gone by the end of this week, for real, for real. But let me go back to the game Monday. While hold on, wait, let's see if Ed Oliver is back. Go ahead and bring him back in real quick. Off the bench said, "What's up, fellas? What's up off the bench? How you going? How you doing?"
What's up, off the bench? Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the Wi-Fi. I know people would be joking me
Yeah.
saying like McDonald's Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I heard what you said while I was getting back on. It would at the highest it would be a 6th round, or we traded for Cade York. We gave up a 7th round conditional pick, and then John Ridgeway. It was like we attached a 7th. And we got back a 6th. So it would be something similar to that if we get something for him. Now, Mike Garafolo did say that teams are interested, but are they interested for a trade, or are they interested when he's released? That's the question right there. So
I think
it's gonna be a release.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a release too. I think teams are just waiting like sharks in the water for him to get dropped, and then they just gonna see who's gonna get him. He said off the bench said B-Rob was trying to out my guy Ed Signal.
Seriously.
He on your Wi-Fi. He trying to get you off the net. Nah, that's funny. That's funny. But yeah, man. So we got Bill right here. It looks like Bill is going to be the starting running back week 1. Now they did bring out Chris Rodriguez first, though. Do you still think that Bill will be our lead back going into the 2025 season?
That's a good question. Because you still, like you said, you still need that bruiser physical back, and I think C-Rod brings that to the table.
Yeah,
I mean that's his running style, that's his identity. Like him and B-Rob have the same build, and I thought he was playing better than B-Rob in the last couple games of the year. He just didn't get much of an opportunity. But I wouldn't be surprised if C-Rod got the first carry against the Giants. Like I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, honestly, like I look at it this way: like who's going to be RB1 by week 8, or who's going to get the bulk of the carries by the end of the game. That's the way I look at it. I wouldn't look at it too much as far as like who gets the first carry, because like sometimes it's like that in it can be like that in any sport. It can be like that in basketball too. Like, somebody may start, but somebody else finishes the game. Somebody else gets the last shot of the game. So I would take I would take a look at it that way. Game flow. If C-Rod is like that thunder, and then Bill's that lightning, where I was just wearing the defense down, and then we get Bill in, he's changing the pace up. He's hitting the home runs. He's getting the 15, 10-yard runs, while C-Rod's getting the 8, 12 here and then another 5, then another 6, another 7, and then Bill comes in and gets you a 20-yard run. So that's the way I would look at it right now. And, he is a rookie, so they may try to – they're not going to put him on training wheels, but I think they may try to, like, hey, have C-Rod in, because he's played – in games before. He's playing in meaningful games. He had a good game against the Titans last year, the Giants, the Falcons. Like C-Rod has actually had some good games in the NFL. So I think they may look at it that way. And then maybe like week 3, week 4, they're just like, okay, yeah, like, JCM is going to start the game off with the first carry.
Right. And we run with a deep crew, right? Running back by committee. And don't forget Eck, because we're going to be putting Eck back there sometimes too. He's going to be catching the ball out the backfield. So we got some guys that don't have to take, too much, banged up, get their bodies banged too bad, because we got 3-4 guys deep that we can put out there and be comfortable and confident in what they can do. But yeah, about this game Saturday, we got some players that might be playing in the last game of the season right now. They in fight or flight mode right now. What player or players do you think can make the biggest impact on their football career this season? Or do you think the players that's like on the fringe is pretty much set? You know what I'm saying? But what players have the most opportunities to make the team this Saturday?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of it. I think Ja'Cory Brooks, the wide receiver spot,
Yeah.
That last 6 spot. They may only keep 5. We'll see. But I think if he comes in and has a good game like he did that first game, no drops, come in, catch everything, get a couple first downs, break a tackle here and there, solid in the blocking game as a receiver. I mean, for this receiving core is so bad to the point where if you just catch the ball, then you
Facts.
move up. Yeah, you got a gold star because a lot of these guys have struggled to catch the ball. And Luke, I don't think Luke's gonna get cut or anything like that. I thought Luke did get open, but it would be nice to see Luke, do something. Give me a first down, like just give me something, rather than 0 catches, 0 yards. Like I want to see something out of our 3rd round pick against some of the backups. Other guys, I would say the linebacker Ali Cahoe, he may not make the roster, but if he can keep making plays, then he'll definitely be on the practice squad, and maybe he might get moved up throughout the season, like somewhere like week 8 or something like that for special teams or something like that. And Duke Riley, I don't know if he's gonna make the roster, but they just brought him in. He's somebody to pay attention to that they like. And from a pass rusher standpoint, the defensive line, Jalen Holmes, he played last year, but he was on the practice squad. And I do want to see more from Eddie Goldman.
Yeah.
First, I want to see a little bit more from him. And then they brought in George Fant, the left tackle. So I don't know if they're gonna have him make the roster because, like I know we talked about, Julian Good-Jones got released. So I don't know if that was a corresponding move to open a roster spot for George Fant because George Fant's been in the league for
he's a veteran.
like 6, 7, 8 years or something like that. So they got a plan for George Fant. I don't think they brought him in to be a camp body. I think they brought him in to contribute as a backup swing tackle. So I want to see what he does. And then I know I'm naming like 10 different people, but I think Chris Paul will make the roster.
Yeah. He played solid. He played solid Monday.
Yeah, Chris Paul, I think he's gonna make the roster. But yeah, those are the guys. I do want to see some of the tight ends a little bit too. I know Yankoff is gonna make it, but I do want to see Lawrence Cager. Like he's a low key guy that probably will be on the practice squad too.
Yeah,
he's super athletic, and then the running backs. Yeah, like I think four of those guys are gonna make it.
Yeah,
all 4 are gonna make it, and then but I do like Felton. Like Felton's a guy that I do like. I'm kind of out on Kaz Allen, but if he has like a decent preseason showing, then they'll probably put him on the practice squad again.
Yeah, it's really I think most of the positions are already spoken for.
Mm-hmm.
The one I'm really looking at is wide receiver. I do think linebacker is kind of I think we're just gonna keep 5, honestly. I know I like Cahill and we brought in Duke Riley. We might keep 6. It's gonna be between those two, like how you said. But wide receiver is the one I'm really looking at. And that 6th spot, I'm looking at Ja'Cory Brooks. But I'm also looking at KJ Osborne because we know how much this team loves guys that can do multiple things, right? If Jalen Lane goes down, we know we can put KJ Osborne back there because he has history, at least in college, playing punt return. So I think he's a guy to look at. If I think he should play. I think he is going to be playing this Saturday. So that's somebody that I also want to look at as well. Moving on though, who is your surprise player? Well, this kind of goes hand in hand with what we just talked about. But who is your surprise player to make the 53-man roster? Just like one player that might sneak up on people.
Right. Ooh, no, that's a good question. I'm looking at the roster right now, and surprise guy. Man, like
that's
you said,
a hard question.
because a lot of positions are taken. Like you said, the cornerback room is set, the safety room is set. Of course, quarterbacks, running backs is set. Those positions are set. But yeah, and I'll say, I'm gonna say because Ja'Cory Brooks is not a surprise. If he makes it, I won't be surprised. I guess I'll say the young man Ali Cahoe. I'll say him, man. I'll say him. And once again, I don't think he's gonna make the roster. But I thought he was flying around in the linebacker position. I know most of the spots are spoken for with Frankie, Nick Ballore, and Bobby and Jordan McGee. So that's 4 guys right there. Typically, they're usually only going to keep 5. Kane Madrano's going to make the team too. So even that is going to be a reach for Cahill. Cahill is probably not going to make. He's not going to make it over Duke Riley either. But that's like the only surprise I would say. Other than that, everybody else who would make the roster, I think they were on the team last year already, and I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I'm looking at the defensive line. I'm looking at the defensive tackles like Carl Davis. I'm thinking about. I know we had to put him in a game last year against the Eagles. And it wasn't his fault, but he shouldn't have been put in that situation. But I from what I've seen from him this offseason, I think he could be a solid, sneaky player that gets up in there because we haven't really seen a lot from Eddie Goldman. Eddie Goldman as the flash. That's somebody that we got to see at least this Saturday to show something. But I think Carl Davis can find his way on this roster somehow. If he wasn't already thought about to be on the roster. I saw Andre Jones Jr. out there as well on Monday. He didn't look bad either. So I know this defensive line is going to be moved around a lot as players are going to be in all different type of positions. So I think those 2 players, Carl Davis and Andre Jones, those 2 players you gotta really keep a lookout for because we could be seeing them during the regular season at some point. But yeah, moving on though, I want to talk to you about a rookie. Just give me like one rookie that you expect this upcoming season. Who do you think is going to flash the most? It could be an undrafted rookie, drafted rookie, just somebody who you think is going to flash the most throughout this season.
I'm gonna go with Trey Amos. He has some really tough matchups with the NFC East, and he's gonna start, man. Like John Jones is coming off the bench, and the one training camp I went to, Trey Amos was playing primarily with the first team and starting. He was across from Marshawn Lattimore, and Mikey was in the slot. But I think Trey Amos is going to make some plays, man. He's got the size, the athleticism, the speed, the wingspan, like everything that we've been looking for because we just couldn't get the cornerback spot right. Like coming from a lot of the guys that we had last year, like he's just so much better than those guys. He's got the swag, the confidence to do it as well, and he's been locking people down in practice. I just wish he would have I kind of wish he would have played on Monday night, just kind of getting a little matchup against Jamar Chase, Higgins. But even the Patriots during practice, I heard he did a good job against Stephon Diggs, and then the preseason game he had a nice play against Mac Hollins where he didn't allow Mac Hollins to get a catch. So I think the guy is as good as advertised. All the local media beat reporters have been going crazy over Trey Amos. I was there and he was locking up Luke. I know it's not saying much, but the fact that he's out there locking up other guys that are in front of him, that's all he can really do at this point. But I think Trey Amos has got the swag, he's got that dog in him and the instincts as well. He's done a good job at Debo in practice as well. But I think he's a guy that fits what Joe Witt Jr. is looking for, what Dan Quinn is looking for, just that prototypical corner. And they were able to draft. They got Mikey, but now they're able to build that secondary the way that they have envisioned. So I think Trey Amos is a guy that is going to have a great rookie season.
I agree, and for the sake of being different, I didn't pick him, but he would have been my number 1 choice. Trey Amos, man, the one thing that I always notice about him, even dating back to college, and what I've seen from him this training camp, he always gets his head around. Have you noticed that? Like he always finds the ball, bro, and that's been like the biggest pet peeve for me in our cornerback room. We fail to find the ball when it's in the air, and that's why we always get these penalties, or they just catch it over us because we don't know what's going on. It feels like he always have a knack to know when the ball's in the air and get his head around, either break it up or catch the pick. So I really wanted to see him Monday. That was my number 1 thing. I really wanted to see him Monday, just like everybody else. I just wanted to see him against Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. I wanted to see how he held up. Even if he played good or bad, it wouldn't have meant that much really, but I wanted to see it for myself, just to see it before the season started. But for me, I'm gonna go ahead and say Josh Connolly Jr. I think this offensive line, when we get healthy and we build the cohesion that we need to build, we're going to be one of the dangerous offensive lines in the league, I think. And I think we're going to have 2 bookend tackles, him and Laramie Tunsil, and we could be able to run it to either side. I think our guards are also athletic, but I think once Josh Connolly gets more comfortable playing right tackle, because he's used to playing left tackle his whole life, he's going to be great. He's going to be awesome at that position, and um, and yeah, I just think he's going to flash. I think he's already flashed this preseason in the 2 preseason games that he's had. Run blocking and pass block. He's kind of known as a pass blocker, but he showed some things in run blocking as well. So if it couldn't be Trey Amos, I think Josh Conley is going to be right there on his heels as a player that's going to flash. Now that was the rookies. Give me one off-season addition, like free agent that we added, that you think is going to flash the most this upcoming season.
That's another good question too. You said just free agency.
Yeah, so just the free agents that we brought in.
Who just off of free agency? I am so Javon Kinlaw is a guy that I feel like definitely could make a leap in his career. Yeah. Especially since he was a first round pick with the Niners. It didn't work out. He had a couple injuries that held him back, and then they didn't pick up his 5th-year option. They ended up not re-signing him. Then he went to the Jets. He was fine with the Jets, but he hasn't had like a fully dominant season. He hasn't lived up to the first round hype or expectations that he had coming out. And I feel like there's a good opportunity. I feel like they have a legitimate plan for him to be successful. Mm-hmm. Dan Quinn told about the elephant in position that they have planned for him. So I really want to see him do that. And then on Monday night, he was just shoving the center back, pushing guys around. Like when the defensive line was getting off after Burrow, Kinlaw was a big part of that. Like he wasn't there to get the sack, but just as far as like collapsing the pocket and creating pressure, like him and Dorrance Armstrong, they were together to do that. So I think he's going to be a big part of that, and slowing down the run game. I know everybody jokes about how big of a guy he is.
Yeah,
and that's what you need, man. That's what you need to clog up the middle, like especially against the Eagles and a lot of the run-heavy teams that we're going to play against this year, like the Falcons with Bijan Robinson. Like we have to do a way better job slowing down the run game than what we did last year. Like if we want to get to where we want to be, you can't be bottom 5 in the run game. And I think Javon Kinlaw, there is some skepticism because the contract or whatever, how much it was. I get it if people didn't agree with it, but it is what it is. He's here now. And he was familiar with Adam Peters. And once again, he's from DC. He left, came back. Yeah. And he loves talking about DC. Like every time they interview him about DC and just the city, like he loves talking about when he was here. So I think Javon Kinlaw is a good candidate for a breakout year.
Hey man, I'm that's my number one player too. I'm excited to see. I'm so excited to see with this defense because we're going to stop the run this season a lot better than we did last season. We got some players up front that's really good at stopping the run. Javon Kinlaw, I feel like he's going to provide something that we just didn't have last season. That's take up space. He's going to take up a lot of space. We're going to be able to move him around on the edge and just throw off offensive teams and offensive lines and hopefully confuse them a lot. But if we can stop the run and get people on 3rd and 8s, 3rd and 7s, 3rd and 9s, I think this defense has a chance to be very special. And I do just want to throw this out here. Jeremy Reeves, he's not a free agent, of course, but I think he's going to play a lot of significant snaps for us because the way that he plays, like he plays like the Joe Witt Jr. defenses, like how he wants them to play. He plays like he's running around with his head on fire, and I feel like that's the type of player that we need. Same with Will Harris. Will Harris is a fast hitting player as well. Will Harris is a offseason addition too. I'm not really expecting a lot from Will Harris. I just don't know what I'm gonna get from Will Harris. But I do think he'll be playing well as well. But Javon Kinlaw is the person that I'm looking for. Outside of him, obviously we got Laramie Tunsil and Debo. First play of the game Monday, Debo get the end around 30 yards. Debo is about to have a crazy season, man. I think he's going to have somewhere 700, 800 receiving yards, like 6 touchdowns, and some rushing yards as well. So I think Debo is going to flash. Laramie Tunsil is going to be an all-pro candidate. I'm speaking it right now. He's going to be up there with the all-pros. So any of those guys are going to make a big impact. But before we get up out of here, though, man, I really want to bring up this Terry situation. We got to talk about this Terry situation because it's super long.
Yes, sir.
So he was obviously taken off the PUP list. Dan Quinn spoke about him today. He said that he's progressing into getting back on the field, whatever that means. To me, that just tells me that he's working to get back on the field. Pretty much, he's doing everything to get back on the field. But we all know what it is. He's probably still trying to get his money, which is understandable. First off, it's going to get resolved some way by week 1 because he's not sitting out, right? How do you think this gets resolved? Do you think he plays on his current contract? Do you think he plays on his current contract, but they give him a little bit more money this season? Do you think he gets a new contract? If he gets a new contract, how much do you think it's for? Because there was some news came out a few days ago that most executives believe that he's in the 27 to 28 range. There's been also reports saying that his team is looking at the DK Metcalf, which is 33 or more. There's also been reports that AP initially gave him the offer of around 24, 25. So yeah, I just want to get your thoughts on it.
Yeah, no, like you said, there's so many numbers that have been thrown out. Adam Schefter a couple weeks ago said that Terry wants more than DK Metcalf. Now Nick Javala wrote something today saying that he wants more than DK Metcalf. There's so many beat reporters, media members that have come out with their own story and what they've heard. And then Ricky Scoops, who has like a dog profile picture as his picture on Twitter, said that there is going to be 30 million per year. And, the only reason why I even gave Ricky Scoops some time or shine or whatever is because he has been right in the past, so I'm like, oh, and you want to be happy about the situation because it's just taking so long. You just want it to be over with.
Right.
Damn. So it's just like, now it's not looking good after what Diana Rossini said, what Nikki Javala said. It doesn't look good. Like, it looks like the Commanders are only willing to go up to 28 million at the most. And I think 28 million is fine to me. Like a 3-year, $28 million deal. It just really comes down to the guarantees. Like if they get about 55 million guaranteed, I think they should call it a day. And then Buddy Baker, of course, like how could you not talk about him in this situation? Like I'm not gonna 100% blame Buddy because Terry's a grown man. He's about to be 30, turning 31 the year after. Like Terry has his own mind. Like if Terry wanted to fire Buddy Baker, I feel like he would.
Yeah.
But as not, he's stuck beside Buddy Baker. They know each other from like some type of family history or whatever background. I think they're both from Indiana, Tim and Terry. So it makes sense why they're friends. But of course, you got to hire an agent who has been there before and kind of like knows the ins and outs of these situations, these contract holdouts and whatnot. So if Terry and Buddy keep looking at that DK Metcalf contract and like they need 34, 35, whatever they're asking for, then they gotta reevaluate things. Like I love Terry with a passion, but to give him 34 mil or 33 at the age of 31, it's just steep, man. And Adam is not budging. Like, there was another clip from Yahoo Sports where the reporter's like, you don't want to negotiate with Adam Peters. He's just a tough negotiator. So we can clearly see that right now. That's what they're going through. But I think ultimately Terry does play here. They're not going to trade him. They may not even get a deal done before the Giants game. Like there's a world where that happens just because they're butting heads so much. But I don't think Terry's going to sit out games because one, all the fines. 2, you sitting out and then asking for a new contract is not a good look. Like you're not playing against anybody. You're not going to be in the best game shape by just not even playing in games, in my opinion. And he's only going to get older. So the last thing he wants to do is set out a whole season like Hassan Reddick. You saw what they did for Hassan Reddick with the Eagles. He set out the whole year and he still didn't really get paid the contract that he's really looking for. So that's just it's a lot, man. There's so much that we've heard. The Eastern Motors commercial shoot, like it's just been a lot, man. And Buddy Baker being at practice almost every day since last week. They're finally not allowing that man to practice or in the building.
Yeah,
good. And the trade request happened, so it's a sticky situation. But I think the perfect number would be like 27, 28. I'd be fine with 30 as well. I'd be fine with 30, but once you get to 33, 34, that's where it's like I love Terry, but it's too much.
It's too much. And I think at the beginning of this process, when we heard DK Metcalf get the deal that he got, I feel like, well, I can't speak for everybody, but I know when I heard the DK deal, I was like, oh, Terry's getting at least 34. And I did hear other people saying the same thing. But as we got further into the offseason and we started to uncover things, we started to think like DK got overpaid and Terry is 30 years old. And that's one of the things that we gotta be appreciative of AP, because he's not going to overpay. I feel like in past regimes, this deal would have been done. Terry probably would have got his 33, 34 million. But if Terry ends up signing for 27, 28, and we save like 6-7 million, that's what you want as a fan, because we could use that money for something else. And that's what AP's job is to do. He's not trying to overpay because he has a job to run at the same time. So I think we need to look at AP and be like, okay, you doing your job well, and we understand where you coming from, and we need to look at Terry, understand where he's coming from too. But from the aspect of his agent, like I want to blame his agent too. But at some point, it's like Terry, he could think for himself. He know what it is. I'm pretty sure that AP is telling him like the reasons why they're not trying to offer that and the reasons why you're valued at this amount. But like you said, he's not missing week 1. I'm at the point now where I feel like he may do what Jamar Chase did. He may play on his final year and bet on himself. Hopefully they give him some extra money to play on his final year. Hopefully he starts week 1. If he starts week 1 without a new deal, hopefully it gets done somewhere throughout the season. But I feel like we're leaning to him not getting a deal, but he's definitely for sure going to play week 1.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man.
I think he's gonna be there week 1 too. I just think he loves the game of football too much,
right,
to sit out. And as far as like a trade partner, I don't see that happening. I know that of course, there are teams that interest, like the Patriots would gladly give up a pick for Warren. But I just don't see him in a different jersey. I think this is the best time for him to stay. Like, he's played through all these quarterbacks, like the quarterback carousel and all these quarterbacks he played with. Like, he finally has a quarterback. You would think this would be the time where he really would just settle down, money regardless, and be like, "Hey, I'm ready to play." So, but I think he's gonna be ready to play week 1.
Yeah, and I think he is. He's working behind the scenes. Like, he's that type of person where we heard the reports where he's getting passes up with Jaden Daniels, and that doesn't necessarily get you ready, because you still got to get hit and you still got to run within the scheme of the offense. But the fact that he is working out, the fact that he is practicing with Jaden, that leads me to believe he's going to be ready for week 1. But it's just sad that we're here at this point, because I thought this was going to get done earlier in the year. But unfortunately, it's just part of business, and this is how things go. But that's all I got for you, Ed, man. I appreciate you for stopping by the podcast, man. I'm pretty sure everyone knows where to find the real Ed Oliver, but go ahead, tell everybody again where they can find you at.
Yes, sir, man. You can follow me on YouTube. If you type in Ed Oliver Commanders or Ed Oliver Skins, I'll pop up on YouTube. And then same thing with Twitter. If you type in Ed Oliver Skins or Ed Oliver Commanders on Twitter, I should pop up on there too. But my Twitter handle is it's EDT 3 O's and then FLA 2 T's. You can follow me on Twitter. And then also there's the Commanders Kings. We actually just made a new Instagram page. You can follow us on YouTube or subscribe to us on YouTube. If you just type in Commanders Kings, we'll pop up on there too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you again for stopping by the pod. If anybody is in here, please like, subscribe, comment down low, turn on that notification bar. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. Peace out, man. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all night.